I was asked recently by a friend of mine how it was that I invested the jury with a sense of responsibility for what they were doing, how it was that I made them actually care about the result of a particular case, because his view was that we live in a pretty cynical world. I hadn't really thought about it because every one of my closing speeches generally is different, but I guess to answer his question, I'd probably say something like this. I'd say, members of the jury, I've not had the privilege of doing jury service, and I often wonder what it is that jurors may think when that summons comes through their letterbox. Some of you, I guess, would have been really keen and would have wanted a big trial, and if that's what you wanted, well, that's what you've got. But others of you may have been anxious or uncomfortable about standing in judgment on somebody else, and for those of you that hope to pass their time whilst you're here at court trying a theft of a packet of fruit pastels or something like that, I'm sorry you've ended up in the middle of something so serious. And let's face it, there will have been some of you, I guess, that regarded the whole thing, frankly, as an irritant and had hoped to get out of it if you could. But whatever you thought when you first met each other on the first day of this trial, 12 of you strangers, each as individual as fingerprints, I bet all of you have changed your preconceptions in some way. For example, funnily enough, it's those jurors who actually at the beginning wanted to get out of it who sometimes make the most committed deciders of someone's innocence or guilt. And although you all arrived at this court at the beginning of this trial as 12 disparate men and women, you aren't that now. Now you're one jury. You're still 12 voices, but you're one jury. And our jury system is the envy of the world. In the press, you may have read recently that juries don't get it right, that they don't understand the issues, that they're bamboozled one way or another. Well, that's rubbish. And you sitting through this trial surely now appreciate how important our jury system is, how important it is that my defendant is tried by you. And our jury system should be jealously protected, even if that places burdens, difficult burdens, on you, on those who are asked to pronounce on someone's innocence or guilt. You see, the votes that you take, each one of you, and I'm looking at each of you individually, I'm talking to each of you individually. The votes that you cast, guilty or not guilty, those are in fact the most important votes you will ever decide. Yeah, I remember the furore leading up to Brexit, and do you remember both sides were scrabbling for votes, and we were told that our in-out vote was the most important that we would ever take, a vote that would affect not just us, not just our families, but the whole nation, our children, and our children's children. And I was thinking just a little while earlier, what an irony it was that a vote said to affect a whole nation could be less important than a vote in respect not of a nation, but just this one man who is in your charge. You see, if you don't like your MP and you regret your vote, well, of course, you can change that. You can vote him out next time round. If you don't like your local councillors, similarly, you don't have to vote the same way when they come up for re-election. But the decisions you make in respect of Mr. Smith, my defendant, the votes that you cast, well, those votes in respect of him are immutable. They are written in stone. You can't change them. You can't fix them. You can't regret them. You can't want to make it right. You see, you have just one chance, members of the jury, and that's the only privilege that you are given. And so if you want to think of a vote that truly affects a person, that truly affects his children and his children's children, bloodlines, well, that's not Brexit. That's here, and it's now. Well, there you are. That's my answer as to how it is I might, I suppose, if I was to think about it, invest a jury with the importance of what it is they're doing. Hope that helps.